When somebody's starting a business, what do you think the biggest legal issues they're going to have that they may not expect?
Well, it depends on the type of business, right? If it's an online business versus, like a product-based business, it depends. Um, I would say a lot of times the things people don't realize is the importance of a contract, right? Like so often people, their first client can be a surprise, right? Or they're thinking like, I'm not a real business yet. I'm working on this, working on that. And then they have that first sales call that results in a yes, right? And you kind of
Right.
have that like, oh my God moment of like, this person's going to pay me. Oh my God. And all of the feelings of like, I'm not qualified. Like, oh my God, it's too much money.
Yeah.
Uh, but very few people in those moments where you are having those like first sales calls, you're pitching your ideas, whatever it is, right? Digital, physical, whatever. Um, when you get that yes, I I really believe that the biggest part, or one of the biggest parts, is to have a solid onboarding process, right? However you're onboarding this client or however the sale works, the onboarding process says everything about your company's credibility and is going to protect you legally as you're providing the service or selling the product, whatever, right? So the onboarding process starts with a contract, right? You or your team, right, sends them the contract to review, then the invoice, not the other way around, and then you start the services. One of the biggest misconceptions is a lot of times people say, especially if it's a phone call, like a sales call, take the money over the phone, right? We don't want to do that because the written contract is actually the offer for the product or the service, right? So
Right.
the way the law works, offer, acceptance, consideration. The contract is the offer. So nothing is happening until you're sending them the written contract. That's where all the good stuff is, right? That's the services, the payment, the disclaimers, the limitations of liability, the dispute resolutions, all the stuff that you actually need in order to protect your business and you is in that contract, right? So don't take money from somebody before they've had a chance to look at what the whole offer is, right?
Right.
The contract is the whole offer. We need to give them the whole thing. Say, do you want to do this, right? They sign it. Yes, I do. The signature is the affirmative action or whatever you want to call it, intentional action of saying, yes, I'm accepting this deal, right? On the phone, that's not where you want to be giving them the offer, having them accept it, right? Because you're not reading through all of your disclaimers and your limitations of liability on the sales call, right? You're talking
Right.
about these are the results, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. That's right. That's how you sell it, right? But that's not the offer. The offer is the written contract. Acceptance is the signature. Then we pay the invoice, right? Then we send them the invoice. That's called consideration, which is just the bargain for exchange, right? I'm paying you, you're giving me the product or service.
Yep.
That's how it needs to go in order to have a legally sound arrangement, right? Written offer, written acceptance, consideration. Digital signature is fine too. But that flow is so vital to the importance of your business. And if you can set that up in the beginning and you're not one of those people, which so many people are, so if this is you listening, it's okay. Where we sort of like do the cart before the horse, right? We're selling things, we're doing, and then like a year later, we're like, I should really get a contract. Or we just pull something from online. We have no idea if it's relevant to what we're doing. Somebody gave it to us, whatever. We think like, a contract is a contract. It's probably fine. And
Yeah.
then later we're like, crap, like this doesn't say anything I need. And it's kind of like insurance, where it's not a problem until it's a problem, right?
Right.
You drive without car insurance, who's going to catch you, right? Until you cause an accident, and then you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Contracts are the same thing, right? I'm sure you can go through having clients with a crappy contract, right? And it's not a problem until somebody tries to challenge it, or until
Right.
they're like, hey, wait a minute, in this contract it says blah blah blah, and you're like, I never read it. I don't know, right? Like I had him sign it because I was going through the motions. But I would say number one is be intentional about that process, right? I know legal is not the most exciting, sexy, fun thing that exists. Like I'm totally aware of that. It's mostly just me that likes it, but you have to at least have like a cursory understanding of what the contract says, right? Have a basic idea. And if you need help, call me, call another business lawyer that can explain, right? Like just the basics of what the contract says and means and does, so that you can enforce it. You look like a total BA that you can answer questions from
Yep.
your client if they ask questions about the contract. And then you complete the the transaction, right? And you file the contract away. Maybe you never look at it. You know, it's in a folder on your computer, whatever. But in the event there's a problem, that is the document you will be like, oh, thank God I did this right, right? Because then if somebody sues you or somebody is going nuts, somebody's threatening you, there's drama, right? The best way to avoid like entrepreneur drama is having that contract in place that you know it's a good contract. It applies to what you do. It was signed before they paid. You're good, right? You
Right.
can always refer to the contract when that client is going AWOL or there's some issue. You can always bring it back to the contract. You don't have to be frantically Googling of like, I don't know what to do. Just look at the contract and say, okay, paragraph 9, here's how we handle a dispute. Paragraph 6, no refunds, but here's what we're going to do. Like it's like having the answers on a test, right? You don't have to panic about this drama that's unfolding. You're just saying, okay, let's look at the contract. Let's solve the problem. Done.